Alright, welcome to my concert photography workflow video. So this video is just going to be about my process, more like logistics instead of like technical aspect of things. If you want to see how I edit my concert photography photos more in detail, check out some links in the description down below. I've done a few of those tutorials and I will do more of those in the future as well. But this video will be on workflow specifically. So my concert photography workflow is a bit different from all my other workflows just because I want to have an emphasis on a faster turnaround, because the artist might be touring and next night they might be in a different city, so the photos won't be as relevant anymore, and if you post them as soon as possible, the fans from that show are more likely to look at the hashtag or the artist tags and look at the geotag location and all that, so there's a bigger chance of getting noticed if you post your pictures as soon as possible, especially when it comes to concerts. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is obviously import the photos. I already imported the photos, but I just want to go over it really quickly. So I edit off a SSD, external SSD. I think that's the best way to go about things, just because you don't want too much clutter on your computer. If you're running out of space on your computer, you start losing speed. So SSD is the fastest drive to work off of, so that's what I recommend. And then when you're importing it, you do add instead of copy. I think it's copied by default, I'm not sure, but you do add, and then you add your photos. So, like I said, there's a fast turnaround, so there is only one thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take the selects, the best of the best. So, the select shortcut is the tilde key, which is below the escape key and on top of the tab key. So, say for example, I think this photo is a banger. It's gonna go on my Instagram for sure. I'm gonna hit the key and it flags it as a pick. So I just go over the pictures really quickly. I'm not picking like the star rating. I'm not picking like what photos are trash. I'm just focused on what's a select. And once you got your selects ready, you just go to attribute right here, and then you go to selects, flag, and then you got your selects. And then sometimes I'll have a reference. If there's like a concert photographer you really like, you can save their photos onto your computer, and then you can select one of their photos, import it in, and then right click, and then you can do set as reference photo. Go back to your pictures. And then when you're editing, you can go to develop, and then you can hit Shift R, and then you can try to edit it as close as possible to that picture, so you can see. Oh, there's some contrast, but the blacks are lifted for sure. Not that much contrast. Oh, there's a blue and there's red, and you can just make it a lot easier to follow. So, say for example, I'm really happy with how this turned out so far, and I can set this as the reference photo now, and then when I'm editing other photos that have a similar white balance setting or whatever, I can kind of use that as a reference now. So Shift R. There. And then you just hit D if you want to exit out of that view. So usually I'll edit the photos from scratch, but if for whatever reason I'm in a time crunch, I can use my presets, and then say for example all these photos are the same white balance, I can hold down Shift, select all of them, and then go to my presets right here, and then basics, and like the film preset for example, and they'll all have like the same theme, so that works out really well. But if I didn't want to do that and I wanted to edit it from scratch, say for example, this is a photo I was really happy with. It's not, but you can edit a photo and you can do the set reference thing again if you want. But the most important thing is to go to develop settings and then copy settings, and then copy everything but the crop, and then you can go to here, and then you can right click, develop settings, and then paste settings. And then you can have a similar theme across your photos. And then once you got the selects all edited, you can just export it out, and then concert, And then usually I won't set a limit size, but sometimes I do. JPEG, sRGB, and export. Alright, so the next thing I usually do is format the picture for Instagram. So if you watch my vertical format Instagram video or whatever, you kind of see what I do there, but I'm just going to go over it really quickly and some other techniques I use as well. If you want to see some of the other techniques that I really go into detail in, then you can like request it if there's like something I've done in the past, or I also have this video where I go over like masking and stuff and like some techniques to get some unique textures, but you can check those videos out if you want. They'll be in the description down below, but basically this 3x2 hack or whatever is you just select it and then you just drag it out so you won't have to crop your picture and kind of just seamless blend into it. Yeah, that's what I do. And another thing I've been doing a lot recently is also duplicating the layer, and then go to image, apply image, and then go to screen, and then you go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I go over this in my night photography tutorial. This is the technique taken from Chris Howe, shout out, and then you can kind of mask if you want. And yeah, say you're happy with that result, so you can save for web, and then you do the JPEG preset, whatever, and there. So after you got your selects, you still have to cull through your photos, but this time you can go a bit more slowly because you got your content out there, and this is more so for if you want to keep your photos and you want to delete some. So first thing we want to do is start from 1 again, but this time we can go through it a bit slower. So caps lock, and then you can go through the photos, hit caps lock, and then X is reject, and then it goes to the next one. So that's what caps lock does. So if you don't hit caps lock and then you hit X on its own, it just rejects the photo but doesn't go to the next one. So if you're just like, it's like this a bit faster for workflow. So this video is all about workflow, so that's another tip. And yeah, you just want to go over the pictures more slowly. I don't have like a star rating, so I don't have a star system or anything, but I do use the stars. And say for example, this like an okay shot, maybe I'll rate it 2, maybe I'll rate it at 3 or something. That's just examples, but I don't have really one system in place. But usually one consistent thing I do is if there's like a set of photos that are like I took them in a continuous shutter mode, I would select all the photos and I'd rate them the same star. So it makes it a bit easier. And I just want to say that I personally save all my raw photos, so it's important for me to delete photos as well, because there might be some photos that are straight up trash and it's just taking up space, right? So you have to delete some photos, in my opinion, especially if you do this a lot, you shoot a lot of projects. It's just, why would you keep bad photos, right? So another thing I want to go over really quickly is that if you wanted to, for example, if one photo, like you can't decide on how you want to edit it, you want one version that's black and white, you want one version that's not, or like 2 different editing modes or whatever, you can do right click and then create virtual copy. And then for one of them, you can do like, say, let's go through my film presets. Yeah, these aren't that good. This one, see? So you want that preset, right? And then for this one, maybe you want it black and white. And then you have 2 of the same versions really easily. So that's another thing. And then at the end of it, if you want to like work on, like I said, I usually rate my continuous shutter photos all 3 stars. You can easily find that rating equal to 3 stars, and then you can work on your GIFs independently, and then like set the same preset to all of them, and export them, and it makes them much easier. And yeah, like Usually I'll have like a star rating for like I'll set one of the star ratings for photos that I find are okay. Like maybe I'll edit them for like a collage or something, but not bangers. The selects are bangers. So the most important thing to this workflow, whatever, is definitely the selects. Like I said, you want those selects out there as soon as possible, and if you have less selects, you can get them out there faster. So what I recommend to you if you're a beginner is to limit yourself to like maybe 10 selects, because maybe when you're starting out to shoot, you think all your photos are amazing and you might edit them a bit slower because you don't have as much experience, right? So I say limit yourself to 10. So try to go through and like select the best photos, and what ends up happening what might end up happening is you might have like 20 selects, right? According to your opinion, and they actually might be really good photos, but you have to limit yourself to 10 because you're not gonna upload 20 photos, right? So pick like the best 10 or best 5 or whatever. The lower the number, the better, because usually some people even like post one banger photo and like it really helps with their business or the artist, whatever. But the lower the number, the better. Usually I try to limit myself to 15 selects, just because I know I can edit a bit faster. If you're a beginner, you might edit a bit slower. So like I said, the lower number is better. And over time, your eye just develops like what it likes, and there's like technical aspects of it, such as like composition and stuff, but a big chunk of it is like experience. So just go through this a lot of times and like you'll know what are selects and what are not. So if you thought this workflow video was helpful to you in any way, please let me know in the comments down below. If you learned something, thumbs up the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you didn't think this video was good or you thought it could be improved in any way, let me know in the comments down below as well. I'm always trying to learn. If there's something I can do to improve my workflow, I'd appreciate it. I'm all ears. And yeah, that's pretty much it.